Welcome back, everyone, to Forge Together. This is the podcast where life isn't meant to be walked alone and meaningful strength isn't built in isolation. Thank you for joining us today. This is going to be part 2 of a longer conversation that we're having here on Forge Together, kind of surrounding building up in the Christian journey. And today I am joined by a colleague and friend, Mr. JT Chambers. JT, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience?
First of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate it very much. So I would describe myself just a little bit as first a believer, second a husband, and a father of 2. That's just a brief description of myself. I've been at the church for just over a year. My role has gone through several changes very quickly, which I think is common at the church. I was hired initially as a pastor's assistant, and that role quickly changed. Where I find myself now is more of a church administrator, just kind of oversee all the financial stuff for the church, the facilities. Basically the day-to-day operations I take care of here at Grace.
Before you even got here, I kind of got thrown into trying to help Jeremy with the men's ministry while he was trying to ease out of some responsibilities, but also still being in the children's ministry was kind of a really big strain on not really being able to give it probably the effort that I really wanted to and what it deserved. And so JT actually recently took over as kind of leading that ministry, which we are so thankful for because Pastor Jeremy, really the church in general, has a really big passion for trying to build the men's ministry here at Grace. And so today, that's kind of one of the things that we are going to talk about. And so I kind of just want to remind everyone, the premise of obviously Forged Together comes from Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so man sharpens one another. And I personally love C.S. Lewis, not just for his fictional work, but for a lot of his non-fictional work. C.S. Lewis was quoted as saying, "Friendship is born at the moment when one person says to another, 'What, you too? I thought I was the only one.'" And so, I think that is probably a common theme amongst men in the church. A lot of us in today's age, especially after COVID, but even before that, just culturally, we've gotten to this place where, men just kind of feel like they have to live their own. They have to be self-sustaining. They have to, do it themselves. And if they don't do it themselves, they're weak. When you think about that idea, iron sharpens iron, why do you believe men's ministry is so important to the life of the church?
Well, men's ministry is vital to the church. Number one, it's biblical. I believe 1 Timothy talks about the overseer of the church must be a husband of one wife, right? So the Bible tells us that the church will be led by men. And so I think men's ministry has to be one of the top priorities of a church. Again, the men are going to be the leaders of the church. And to C.S. Lewis's point, that's brilliant. How many times in our classes have we heard, "Oh my gosh, you too?" Like that, it's literally genius of C.S. Lewis. That's great. I love that. But I think the men's role is so important in the home. It just makes sense how important it is in the church. And if we can get our men to learn from each other, iron sharpens iron. If we can learn from each other in the church setting, and that's what my goal is, to help each other at the church, learn from each other, and then we can take those skills home and hopefully raise our family with help from other men.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned the role of a spiritually healthy man. Both affects church and in the family. In fact, studies have shown that if a father does not attend church, even when the mother does, only about 1 in 50 children will become regular churchgoers as adults. When both parents attend church, about 33% of the children will remain active in the church as adults. But in fact, if only the father attends church, about 44% of children will continue attending even after, usually when they reach that teenage age when we tend to see fall off, about the 18 to 25 year age. So men's spiritual engagement has an outsized influence on whether the next generation remains connected to faith in the communities.
And that's one of the reasons why I kind of came back to the church. I grew up in church. There was always a Bible present in my home. My parents, my mother made sure that I was always involved in the church, but like many of us, we stray away, we fall away. But one of the reasons that I came back was I was literally scared into it almost. I heard somebody, a famous person, giving their testimony, and he looked at the camera and said, "Fathers, it is your responsibility to make sure your family gets to heaven." And that hit me, that it was literally my responsibility that these 3 other people in my home get to heaven. Like it's on me to do that. So that's what brought me back this time.
Yeah. In fact, kind of sad to say, only 26% of Christian fathers say that they're intentionally disciplining their children spiritually, and less than 15% actually mentor other dads within the church, which kind of implies why men's ministry is so important within the health of the church. As the church continues to grow and to thrive, you really hope and aim to have a healthy, thriving men's ministry. And I do know here at Grace, we really hope, and we're really trying to target that in this year and the following years to come. It's been a concentrated effort.
And not an easy one, right? It is challenging. We'll probably talk about that here in a minute, but one thing that I've always and I've passed on to Pastor Jeremy, I've mentioned this before, and I've always had this thought that someone passed to me, that as a believer and as a church goer, we should always have one hand up and the other one down, right? We should always be being fed or receiving something from somebody in the church that is wiser than us, or an elder or somebody, right, is feeding us. And at the same time, then we need to be reaching down and passing that down and pulling somebody else up with us. So as long as we're receiving, we're also pulling somebody up behind, then we're doing our jobs. You did touch on it very briefly, but what to you are some of the biggest challenges you faced, coming into the men's ministry here at Grace? Some of the biggest challenges, certainly with men, is time. Number one, trying to get multiple men, like more than one person even, but especially men, to meet at a certain time is very, very difficult. Their time is so strapped in the way it is these days with kids and sports and work, and it's very, very difficult to do that. But then to set a time and say, hey, we're going to meet on Wednesdays, inevitably you're going to have 2 or 3 men that I can't be there on Wednesdays, so you move it to Thursday, and then there's 2 that can't meet on Thursday. So time was one of the biggest challenges. Another issue that we had with men's ministry is recruitment. A lot of people are in small groups of one variance or another, right? And a lot of them are in a small group with their spouse. They do these life groups, small groups together. A lot of them are on the same nights that we have men's ministry. And so a lot of people are either already in that group that night, or they go to that group on a different night. And it's hard to say, okay, now break away from your family on Wednesday nights and come and join a men's group when you're already doing a life group or a small group with your spouse already. So that's been a challenge too.
Yeah, I was trying to find it. I guess I didn't save in my notes, but I do know it actually came from C.S. Lewis when we were talking about time. C.S. Lewis wrote a book called Screwtape Letters. And one of the things that Screw Tape, which was he was mentoring a younger demon, whatever his role or title was. And one of the things that he had talked about and the way that the enemy tries to diminish our connection with God is by keeping them busy. Keeping them, they say, distracted, is really what they say. And, you know, if we're not intentional about how we spend our time, it's too easy. It's too easy today to allow things, even if they're not bad things in and of themselves, to distract us from that time that we need to grow spiritually as believers. And for me particularly, you know, I was convicted of this because, like I told you, I had taken on trying to do a remodeling of our bathroom because we had a leak, and I was trying to figure that out. I was trying to use Wednesday nights because Faye was going to group and Ava was going to Awana's, and it's really noisy. I'm cutting power tools, this, that, and the other. Well, for almost 3 to 4 weeks in a row, something always came up. Faye had a migraine, Ava was sick, then I was sick, then the whole house was sick, and it just kind of like, there was always something going on, and I told Faye, I said one of the reasons I hadn't been going to men's group is because I'm trying to get this done. And so finally she's like, I don't care how noisy it is, just do it. And so I did end up doing it about a week ago, got it all pulled out, and it's ready to start the reconstruction of it. So I've been able to intentionally free up my time so, you know, that I can try to make that happen during the week. And for some of you, you know, that may be what is needed. Maybe you need to concentrate effort into something to make sure that you have that time. And you know, one of the things that I will say, and I do want this to be a call to anyone that's watching this movie, if you're in the Bloomington area, you do not have to be a member of our church. We welcome you to our men's group Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. You know, we always have a snack. We've got good fellowship. We've got a great group of men that come regularly. But we are conscious about your time. And so we recognize that we try to make sure that our time is used effectively, but also recognize that you do have a family and you do have responsibilities. So again, we do welcome you. You don't have to be a member of our church. Please come and check us out. We would love to have you. I know growing up that, you know, one of the things that my dad had always taught me was like, men don't show emotion.
Sure.
And, you know, that was something that had always kind of plagued me growing up in that sense. And it has taken me quite a while to try and like figure out how to control that. I credit a little bit to the Army on that one because you're not really allowed to feel anything. So I guess they taught me one thing, it was how to turn off my emotion when I need to. But yeah, a lot of men struggle to show and express emotion. And in fact, many men report feeling unqualified and spiritually inexperienced to lead other men, which discourages them from mentoring and to showing up. And so, you know, that fear of vulnerability, that fear of unqualifiedness, it really is like a hindrance to try and break through that schism that men have, that bias or whatever you may call it. You know, in your experience, what have you seen as some of the biggest taboos or unspoken rules that sometimes keep men from showing up?
Men don't share their emotions. They don't show them. Men don't cry. You have to be tough. Rub some dirt on it. Can't be vulnerable. Can't let people see your weakness. Those are all things that keep men from participating, but even attending, right? Because why would I go do that? I can't show that side of myself. They're just going to want to talk about feelings or whatever, and they're not. Men aren't supposed to do that.
Yeah.
when I started watching like the Chosen series, I think that it really does bring a different light to the relationship that Jesus had with his disciples and amongst the disciples that we don't really garner or get from, and I get that a lot of it's Hollywood, but I think there's some truthfulness to it, right? Like it was intentional in that aspect. And I really do think that we are missing so much when it comes to men ministries. I've seen other churches where their men's ministries are thriving, and I think I resonate with you, and I really think a lot of men tend to use like I don't have time. But it does help, when you have other offerings, to get the kids and to get, the wife all here at the same time. And so, I think that is one thing that we probably do well here, and in that aspect. We talk about men not wanting to be vulnerable and not wanting to be open up. What do you think could be some practical steps to actually make the men feel safe when they're in that group setting?
Sure. Number one, it starts with leadership and then time again. So I've been in leadership for 25 years now. So one thing that I try to make sure that I do is I would never ask someone to do something that I wouldn't do myself. So number one, I'm not going to ask men to come in and start sharing things that they may not share otherwise if I'm not willing to do that first. And so I want to make sure that they understand that I'm open, and I'll talk about things. And I don't expect the first time that I open up and talk about it that automatically it catches on. So here comes the time, right? It takes several classes or meetings to where people can see that I will continue to be open. And I'll spend that time doing that. That builds trust. So trust would be the other one. That what we say in our men's group stays in our men's group. And if people can open up and start to trust that what they say there stays there, if it needs to, when that actually happens over time, then it starts to build that trust, and that's how they start to open up more and more.
Yeah, I do like that. I definitely want to emphasize to anyone out there that is interested in coming, it very much is what is said in men's group stays in men's group. I would say like the one caveat is like obviously if there's a critical concern for someone, usually the only other person that usually would go to is pastor. But fun fact, our pastor likes to come and join the men's group from time to time, and that kind of leads into what you were talking about, like vulnerability, but also how important leadership vulnerability is in setting the tone of the group. And I know that like when Pastor Jeremy comes, he doesn't come as pastor, he comes as another guy of the group, and he makes that very poignant. When he's there, he's like, don't even call me pastor, don't. He's like, I am just Jeremy, I am here to be another part of the group. One stat that often resonates in men's ministry, men are far more likely to grow spiritually when they have close friendships with other men who talk openly about faith. And while hard to quantify universally, most discipleship research points to relational accountability as one of the strongest predictors of long-term spiritual growth, which makes sense. Yep. Because I kind of want to back up a little bit there too, because the word accountability, I think today has such a negative connotation. I feel like between all the gossip and the drama that happens in church, a lot of the sense of accountability, like no one wants to be. Sure. We talk about vulnerability, but even accountability, they almost go hand in hand. I don't think that anyone would probably have a problem being accountable if they thought that it was going to stay between those individuals. And I think that there's always just like that fear inside that their dirty laundry is going to get aired out. I mean, like, what is your kind of take on that?
Gosh, how long has gossip been a problem? I mean,
well, we know it's in New Testament.
Yes.
We talked about.
Right. It's always been there. It's something that we see. It's something that we live. And again, that's building the trust of what you say here is going to stay here. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me why it takes men longer to open up. It's fear. It's literal fear. At some point, we have to step out in faith and hope that these people are genuine, and that's why that it takes more than that one class or that one semester of men's group to really build a core group of people that you trust.
What, in your own words or thoughts, like, what does accountability look like to you?
I mean, just to be accountable for your actions, right? You don't want to be called out, or if you fail at something, somebody else is going to see you do it. They're going to call you out for it. But we need accountability. We need somebody there to pick us up and encourage us. I don't think I answered your question at all.
No, it does. No, it does. You touched on like the encouragement and picking up. Too often, I think that the negative connotation of accountability comes from this sense that someone's there to just beat you with a hammer. Shame on you. You know, put the gavel to you.
Call you out.
Yeah.
But we learn we need to lift each other up and encourage each other. So
right. And I think like the church has done a very bad job of showing accountability, especially amongst how they treat like senior leadership in churches and the public spectacles that we've been seeing now. Now, I want to be completely transparent and to the point. If they did something wrong that is against, the congregation, they do need to be held accountable. However, I don't necessarily agree with the whole publicly traipsing them up in front of the congregation and basically putting a noose around their neck for them to confess their deepest, darkest things that they've done. It should be handled in quiet amongst the leadership. And I have seen churches do this. They handle it amongst the leadership. The pastor will go up and say, I need time. They'll take a sabbatical and say that I need time to work on some things. To me, like, that is probably the more healthy, because that shows the church accountability, but it shows grace. It's not parading them up there as some scapegoat or some spectacle, which I think has caused a lot of fear and negative connotation when it comes to accountability. For me, like, if I want to be accountable, I want someone that is gonna be there to, maybe answer a text when I text saying, I'm in this situation. Can you talk for a couple minutes? And for the individuals that are trying to hold someone else accountable, it doesn't mean that you have to have the perfect scripture to give them. Like, that isn't always the case. It's not always what they need, especially normally guys don't want to necessarily like take straight up advice from another guy. It might be different if it's coming from for the pastor or something like that. But yeah, like someone that can really lift you up when you're in those deep, dark places.
certainly somebody you trust.
Yeah. It kind of leads into, this idea Bonhoeffer wrote in Life Together that Christians need another Christian who speaks to them. And that really gets to the heart of why men's ministry matters. We weren't designed to to live our Christian journey in isolation. You and I have been in men's ministry and really, within the church enough. And you just mentioned your stepdad as probably, one of those examples. But, do you have maybe some other examples where guys have started speaking the truth into, others' lives and you've been able to see, the fruits of that interaction?
So, yeah, we have had a few examples within our group of where I've felt, hey, this is working. We're doing something here. Recently we had, and again, what's said in there stays in there. So I'll tread very carefully here, but somebody, expressed some concerns that they had in an issue. And after, maybe a few days later, someone reached out to me saying, hey, does this person have an accountability partner or somebody to check in on them? And that for me was, oh my gosh, we're doing something here, right? Somebody in the church needed help. They expressed it within this, the confines of this, and another person heard it and they're willing to help. This is what we're here for. And I've always lived under the belief that if this helps one person, we did our job, right? And so for me, I've seen it a few times now, and so I know that it served its purpose, and now anything after that is just extra fruit that we're getting. Literally, if we helped one person, we did our job. Yeah. And so that recently took place. Mm-hmm. So it was great.
Yeah, I can think of one. There was an individual, they had just started attending Grace. They weren't very well connected, and there was prayer from individuals that they really wanted to see them get connected. And this individual had, they had issues that sometimes, maybe people maybe have felt like they came off in the wrong way. But really this individual was, very keen, very wise, very biblically grounded. It's just the things that he had gone through in life had just kind of like, that's the person that they had become. And thankfully, through our men's ministry, we managed to get them to come. And, I remember them saying like, man, I really appreciate having this time away from the house. It's just men, things like that. He's like, I've been waiting for this. So, that to me is obviously another win that we have had.
Yep. Yeah. And that holds true for me. My family is literally the most important thing here for me. And I won't hurt my kids' feelings by saying this. They know this. I've said it a lot, but I live with a wife and 2 daughters. So to get away to spend some time with other men it means everything to me as well. So that makes sense.
I think both of us, because Jeremy kind of like started it and like we kind of like took over. But even in spite of that, can you think of, like 1 or 2 things that you would tell like a church that's either rebuilding or they're just getting started about how they can approach starting, that men's ministry?
Yeah, a couple of things that I would recommend. Number 1, I guess, would be if it's feasible to start a men's ministry alongside a women's ministry, I think that might help. Again, on certain nights where we try to have men's group, there's couples groups that are happening. So I wonder if hindsight, if we had a group where men could come and at the same time group where women would go, we may have better attendance. That's possible. Another thing that I would recommend would be, and I want to try it here, at Grace. It's as we have teenagers that are leaving the teen group. Most of them probably are still single, right? They're going to come out of there not married, no spouse. And I think that's going to be the most important group to get, would be these 17, 18-year-old young men, to get them connected immediately when they come out of teen group, so that they don't kind of get lost or don't find that group. I know we try to have a group for young adults, but I think that teenage group, 18, 19, is going to be important to see if we can get them connected in the men's group. I think it'd be great for them to learn from men that have gone through this stuff that they're about to go through. And then as far as for another church starting, I do want to say you can't get hung up on numbers. There have been nights where we've met for men's group, and there was 3 of us, and then there's nights where there's 10 of us, and you just can't get hung up on numbers. You can't stop it and say, well, we only had 3 tonight, so gosh, this isn't working. Whoever was there was supposed to be there, and it was important. And if it was 1 or 2 people, then that's by design. That's who was supposed to be there. That's who needed to be there. So you can't just give up on it because numbers.
Yeah. I think one of the other things that I remember, and we actually haven't done one in a while, we did do a men's cookout. I think it was almost a year and a half ago. We got a pretty good turnout from that. I think we probably had about 20, 25 men showed up to that one. Having those activities that aren't necessarily Bible study, but just fellowship, just having time, I think is a good a good example. Another thing, that you could do, doing things outside of church. I think that's probably one of the other things is, like, church, there's just like that, sure, that connotation, so if it's, things like, billiards or bowling or axe throwing, we got a whole bunch of guys, last missionary week, they went to the gun range, things like that I think are really good for drawing men out of their comfort zone and starting those relational connections. Because sometimes it is hard to get them to come into a group and to talk about those feelings and emotions, but if you get them to connect over an activity, you're starting to make those, yeah. So I would definitely encourage, other churches to implement some of those things as well, if you're struggling to figure out a way to start a men's ministry. We're kind of wrapping up here, JT, what encouragement would you give to men listening who feel hesitant or skeptical about joining a men's group?
I would think, gosh, you really don't have anything to lose. There's only something to gain. And I've talked to men and tried to get them to come, and I've then had their girlfriend or wife tell me, hey, they're not coming because, they don't want to talk in front of other people, or they don't pray out loud, or they have a fear of talking in front of other people. None of that happens. The first thing when you walk in is you don't have to say anything, right? That's what I'm there for. I will lead the group. I will lead the discussion. And if people don't answer, then I will fill in the time. Just come give it a shot. Bring somebody with you if that helps. Bring another guy if that helps. Let me know any concerns before you come in, and we'll take care of them. Like, we're not here to embarrass you or call you out. We just want an opportunity to pass on what we know, what we've learned, and we want to learn from you eventually. So come in, be comfortable, and there's no stress. No stress.
Well, JT, I thank you again for this conversation. I think it's been really good, really open conversation. To our audience, I want you to remember that isolation is where struggles grow. Brotherhood is where they get defeated. And there's no better way to gain that brotherhood than to be joining a men's group. And as we kind of go through this series, I'll make sure to leave a link down below. Please like and subscribe so that you are up to date on the content. You can go back and look at the video series 1 as we talk through twisted scripture and some of the negative connotations that believers end up stuck in. And then coming up after this episode, I will be doing another follow-up to that conversation, kind of leaning into that men's group of what are some things and strategies that we can do to work against those twisted scriptures to find some peace. So
That's good.
thank you again, Mr. JT, and I really appreciate it. Until next time, everyone, stay forged together.